It begins not with a shouted challenge or the boisterous goading of your friends in the common room, but with something far quieter and more insidious. It's a dare, yes, but one whispered by a part of yourself you rarely acknowledge in the bright light of day. It's the low, persistent hum of curiosity that has been buzzing beneath your skin all evening. A feeling that the castle walls are too close, the ceiling of the great hall too low, the familiar, comfortable routines of school life, a cage you suddenly need to escape. Or perhaps it's not a dare at all. Perhaps it's a summons, a quiet, magnetic pull in your chest, a silent note played on a frequency only you can hear, drawing you towards the dark, ragged line of trees that guards the edge of the school grounds. You wait until the common room has fallen silent, until the fire has burned down to a pulsating heart of embers, casting long, sleepy shadows on the tapestries. The air is warm and smells of old books and toasted crumpets, the very scent of safety and home. But tonight, that comfort feels like a blanket you need to throw off. You slip from your favorite armchair, your movements slow and deliberate, a shadow detaching itself from other shadows. The journey through the sleeping castle is a lesson in silence. Every footstep on the cold stone floors sounds like a thunderclap in your own ears. You hold your breath as you pass the portrait of a snoring wizard, convinced his wheezing will turn into a shout of alarm. You freeze as a suit of armor gives a metallic sigh, its enchantments settling in the cool night air. The moonlight that streams through the tall, arched windows is a treacherous accomplice, painting bright, exposing patches of silver on the dark flagstones that you have to leap across, darting from one pool of darkness to the next. This is a transgression, a breaking of the rules not for mischief or for glory, but for a reason you can't quite name. It feels less like a choice and more like a pilgrimage. You finally reach the great oak doors of the entrance hall. They are heavy and ancient, and opening them without making a sound feels like an impossible task. You pull out your wand, the familiar wood, a cool, solid comfort in your trembling hand. You whisper the incantation for a silencing charm. Your own voice, a ghost in the vast, empty space. The heavy door swings open without a sound, and you slip through, pulling it shut behind you. The night air hits you, crisp and clean, and tasting of damp grass and distant rain. The change is immediate and profound. You have left the warm, breathing, contained world of the castle for the vast, open, and wild world of the grounds. The sky above is a deep, dark, star-dusted velvet, and the moon, a perfect, bright sliver, hangs like a scythe, casting everything in a pale, ethereal, blue-tinted light. The castle rises behind you, a silent, sleeping giant of towers and turrets, its windows dark save for the single, unwavering light in the headmaster's office. Before you, at the bottom of the long, sloping lawn, lies your destination, the Forbidden Forest. It is not just a collection of trees. It is a presence. Even from this distance, it feels alive. A single, massive, breathing entity. It is a solid wall of blackness, a place where the moonlight does not penetrate, a ragged edge where the neat, manicured lawns of Hogwarts end, and something else, something older and wilder, begins. The pull in your chest intensifies, a steady, insistent thrum that matches the low, almost sub-audible hum you can feel emanating from the trees themselves. It is a sound that does not enter through your ears, but through the soles of your feet. A deep, resonant bass note of ancient, untamed magic. You know you shouldn't go. Every rule, every story, every cautionary tale you have ever heard screams at you to turn back, to retreat to the safety of your warm bed. But the dare has been made. The summons has been issued. And you know, with a terrifying, exhilarating certainty, that you are going to answer it. You take a deep breath of the cold night air and begin to walk. Your feet silent on the moon-drenched grass, towards the waiting darkness. The walk down the sloping lawn towards the forest is the longest walk of your life. With every step you take away from the castle and towards the trees, the feeling of transgression intensifies. You feel the weight of 1,000 unseen, watching windows on your back. The castle, which had been your home and your sanctuary, now feels like a silent, disapproving guardian you are betraying. The air grows colder as you descend, the gentle, manicured slope giving way to rougher, untamed ground. The familiar, comforting scent of the castle, of wood smoke and old stone, is replaced by the smell of the forest, a rich, complex perfume of damp earth, decaying leaves, and the sharp, pine needle scent of trees that have stood for 1,000 years. You finally reach the edge, the tree line. It is not a gentle transition. It is a hard, definitive border. On one side, lies the open, moonlit lawn, a place of order and safety. On the other lies a wall of impenetrable darkness, a chaotic tangle of ancient, gnarled trunks and twisted branches that seems to lean out, to loom over you, as if daring you to enter. It is the line between the world of wizards and the world of old, wilder things. You pause at this threshold, the pull in your chest, now a powerful, undeniable force. The low, humming thrum of the forest is louder here, a physical vibration in the air around you. It's a sound that feels both menacing and deeply, strangely inviting. You can hear the sounds of the castle behind you one last time, the faint, distant chime of the clock tower, the soft sigh of the wind around the turrets. It is the sound of the world you know. And then you take the final step. The moment you cross the tree line, the world changes. It is instantaneous and absolute. The vast, open sky vanishes, swallowed by a thick, oppressive canopy of leaves. The moonlight is gone, replaced by a profound, disorienting darkness. The sounds of the castle are not just muffled, they are extinguished, completely and utterly, as if a great, heavy door has slammed shut behind you. The air is suddenly still and close, the temperature dropping several degrees. You are in a different world, a world with its own rules, its own magic, its own ancient, beating heart. You stand frozen for a long moment, allowing your eyes to adjust to the gloom. The darkness is not total. Faint, ghostly slivers of moonlight manage to pierce the canopy in a few places, creating a strange, dappled pattern of silver and black on the forest floor. The silence is not empty. It is thick and heavy, filled with 1,000 tiny, unseen movements. The soft rustle of a leaf, the snap of a twig, the faint, dry skittering of something small and unseen in the undergrowth. Every sound is sharp, distinct, and amplified in the stillness. You take a tentative step forward, your foot landing with a soft, damp crunch on a carpet of fallen leaves and pine needles. The ground here is soft and uneven, a treacherous landscape of gnarled roots that coil across the forest floor like sleeping serpents. The trees themselves are a marvel of ancient, intimidating beauty. They are enormous, far larger than any trees you have ever seen, their trunks thick and twisted, their bark like the wrinkled skin of an old man. Their branches are a tangled, interlocking web above you, a black, thorny net that has captured the sky. You feel a profound sense of being an intruder, a small, soft, warm-blooded creature in a place of cold, ancient, and indifferent power. The feeling of being watched, which you had only glimpsed from a distance, is now a palpable, oppressive certainty. It's not coming from any one direction. It's coming from everywhere, from the dark spaces between the trees, from the deep shadows of the undergrowth, from the high, unseen branches above. It is the collective, dispassionate gaze of the forest itself, and it is weighing you, measuring you, judging your right to be here. You pull your wand, its familiar shape, a small, desperate comfort in your hand. You whisper, "Lumos," and the tip of your wand blossoms with a small, bright, white light. It pushes back the immediate darkness, illuminating a small circle of the forest floor around you. But the light seems weak here, swallowed by the immense, light-devouring blackness of the woods. It only serves to make the shadows beyond your small circle of light seem deeper, darker, more filled with unseen, watching things. A sense of profound, primal fear begins to creep into your heart. A fear that has nothing to do with breaking school rules. This is an older fear, the fear of the dark, the unknown, the wild. You know you should turn back. You know you should run back to the safety of the castle, to the light and the warmth and the noise. But the pull in your chest, the strange, magnetic summons that brought you here, is still there, stronger than ever. It is pulling you deeper. And you know, with a sense of dread and a thrill of undeniable excitement, that you have no choice but to follow. You take another step and another, leaving the memory of the open, moonlit lawn behind you, and allow the ancient, whispering darkness of the forbidden forest to swallow you whole. You move deeper into the forest, and the world becomes a place of silver and shadow. The oppressive, near total darkness of the tree line gives way to a more complex, more deceptive kind of gloom. Here, in the heart of the woods, the ancient trees are so vast and their canopies so high that the moonlight finds a way to force itself through, not as a gentle glow, but as sharp, narrow slivers of pure, liquid silver. It drips through the tangled latticework of leaves and branches, painting the forest floor in a constantly shifting, disorienting mosaic. This is not a helpful light. It's a trickster's light. It illuminates a patch of moss, making it glow with an eerie, phosphorescent green, while plunging the ground a foot to the left into absolute blackness. It catches on a dangling strand of spiderweb, turning it into a shimmering silver thread that seems to lead nowhere. It creates a world of stark contrasts, a landscape where nothing is quite what it seems. The forest floor is a shifting map of illusions. A gnarled root, half buried in the damp earth, looks for all the world like a grasping, skeletal hand reaching for your ankle. You freeze, your heart in your throat, your wand held aloft, only to realize as a sliver of moonlight shifts that it is just a piece of wood, a patch of dark, damp leaves momentarily takes the shape of a crouching creature, its form hunched and waiting, before another beam of light reveals it to be nothing more than shadow and decay. Every shadow seems to twitch just a moment too long after you pass, and every rustle of leaves sounds like a footstep that is deliberately trying to mimic the sound of the wind. The light from your wand, your small, familiar lumos, feels inadequate here. It is a brave, defiant little orb of light, but it is a young magic, a human magic. The darkness of the forest is ancient, powerful, and it seems to drink your light, to absorb it, leaving you feeling vulnerable and exposed. Your circle of safety feels pitifully small against the vast, breathing blackness that presses in on all sides. You keep your wand held high, the light bobbing and weaving before you, creating your own personal, frantic dance of shadows. The trees themselves seem to watch you, their ancient, bark-covered faces impassive and judgmental. You pass a great, gnarled oak, so old that its trunk is as wide as a small cottage, and you can't shake the feeling that it is aware of your presence, that its deep, slow, wooden thoughts are considering you. This small, fleeting creature of warmth and light. You run your hand along its rough, moss-covered bark, and it feels like touching the skin of a sleeping giant. You feel a low, deep vibration in the wood, the slow, patient pulse of its life, a rhythm that has been beating in this forest for 1,000 years. The air is thick with the smell of wet earth and something else, a strange, sweet scent of a flower that only blooms in the dead of night. Its perfume, a heady, intoxicating lure. The silence deepens, the small, skittering sounds of the forest floor fading away as you move further in. It is as if the forest is holding its breath, waiting for you. You are lost. You realize, not in a panicked, frantic way, but in a calm, absolute sense. You have no idea which direction the castle is in. Every tree looks the same. Every shadow a twin of the last. You are completely untethered from the world you know, adrift in a sea of silver and black. But the pull in your chest, the strange, quiet summons, is still there, a steady, unwavering compass needle pointing you deeper, always deeper. It is the only thing that feels real in this disorienting, illusory world. You know, with a certainty that defies logic, that you are not just wandering aimlessly, you are being led. And so you surrender to the trickster's light, to the grasping roots and the watching trees, and you follow the invisible thread, trusting the ancient, silent magic of the forest to guide you to your unknown destination. The feeling of being watched intensifies. It's no longer a vague, ambient sense of the forest's collective consciousness. It becomes specific. It becomes personal. It is a focused, intelligent gaze that settles on the back of your neck like a physical weight, a prickling sensation that makes the small hairs on your arms stand on end. You stop, your own breathing sounding impossibly loud in the profound silence. You slowly pan your wand in a wide arc, the small orb of light cutting a nervous, trembling path through the deep, inky blackness between the ancient trees. At first, you see nothing but the same gnarled trunks and dark, damp earth. You are about to dismiss the feeling as a product of your own heightened nerves, a simple case of fear playing tricks on your mind. But then your light catches them. They are just pinpricks, two tiny, luminous points of light, glowing with a soft, pale, greenish-yellow fire, floating in the absolute darkness about 20 feet to your left. They are perfectly still, unblinking. You freeze, your wand hand tightening, your heart beginning to hammer a frantic, desperate rhythm against your ribs. Your mind races, trying to identify the creature. A bowtruckle? Too low to the ground. An owl? They would have blinked. A fox? Perhaps. But the gaze feels too steady, too intelligent for a simple forest animal. You take a small, hesitant step forward, and the eyes do not move. They do not retreat, and they do not advance. They simply watch you. The gaze is not hostile, not overtly threatening. It is calm, ancient, and utterly unreadable. It is a gaze of pure, dispassionate observation. It is not the look of a predator sizing up its prey. It is the look of a scholar examining a new and interesting specimen. It is the look of a judge weighing a soul. The forest is no longer just watching you. It is measuring you. A new pair of eyes appears, further back in the woods, to your right. These are a different color, a deep, glowing amber, like the embers of a dying fire. Then another pair, higher up in the branches of a great yew tree, a brilliant, piercing sapphire blue. Soon, you are surrounded. A silent, hidden audience has gathered in the darkness. Dozens of pairs of luminous, unblinking eyes, all fixed on you. This small, solitary human with your pathetically small circle of light. The primal, instinctual fear is overwhelming. Every part of your being is screaming at you to run, to cast a blasting curse, to do something, anything, to break this terrifying, silent standoff. But the pull in your chest, the strange, quiet summons, holds you in place. It whispers a different command. Wait. Be still. Show them you are not a threat. So you do. You force yourself to take a long, slow, deep breath. The cold night air burning in your lungs. You lower the tip of your wand slightly. A gesture of peace, of submission. You do not try to speak. You do not try to run. You simply stand there, in your small bubble of light, and you let them look. You meet their gaze, moving your eyes from the pale green to the deep amber to the brilliant blue, and you try to project not fear, but respect. You are a visitor in their world. You are here not to conquer, but to listen. You stand there for what feels like an eternity, locked in a silent, magical communion with the unseen creatures of the forest. The air is thick with a strange, electric tension, a feeling of being on the precipice of something momentous. And then, as subtly as it began, it ends. The pair of sapphire blue eyes, high up in the yew tree, blinks once, a slow, deliberate gesture, and then they vanish. A moment later, the amber eyes to your right fade, as if a candle has been snuffed out. One by one, the pairs of watching eyes disappear, winking out of existence, until only the first pair remains. The pale, greenish-yellow lights that still watch you with their unnerving, intelligent calm. They hold your gaze for one long, final moment. And then they too blink out, plunging the forest back into its simple, uncomplicated darkness. You are alone again. But you know you are not. You have been seen. You have been weighed, measured, and, for some unknowable reason, you have been allowed to pass. The oppressive feeling of being watched is gone, replaced by a new, strange sensation, a feeling of acceptance. The path ahead is still dark, still unknown, but it no longer feels forbidden. You have passed the first test, and the pull in your chest, stronger now, more confident, urges you forward, deeper into the heart of the ancient, whispering woods. The forest has accepted you, or so it seems. And with that acceptance comes a shift in its demeanor. The oppressive weight of unseen eyes lifts, leaving behind a quiet that is no longer menacing, but expectant, as if the woods themselves are holding their breath, waiting to see what you will do next. Your wand's light, still trembling in your grip, casts a frail halo around you, illuminating a patch of ground that seems different. Your feet crunch against something harder than the soft, damp carpet of leaves and needles you've been treading. You lower your wand, and there, beneath your boots, is a trail. It wasn't there a moment ago. You're certain of it. You've been stumbling over roots and moss, each step a negotiation with the uneven earth. But now the ground is smoother, more deliberate. Mossy stones, flat and worn, as if by centuries of unseen feet, form a winding path that stretches into the darkness ahead. They gleam faintly in your wand light, their surfaces slick with dew and etched with faint, spiraling patterns that might be runes, or might simply be the work of time and weather. The path is narrow, barely wide enough for you to walk without brushing against the undergrowth, and it curves gently to the left, disappearing into the shadows where even your lumos cannot reach. You hesitate, your breath catching in your throat, the pull in your chest, that magnetic summons that has guided you this far, thrums with renewed intensity, urging you forward. But the appearance of this path feels too convenient, too purposeful. The Forbidden Forest is not a place that offers clear directions to wandering students. Every story you've heard, whispered in the common room, or muttered by older students over butterbeer, warns of its tricks, its ability to lead you astray. Yet this path feels like an invitation, not a trap. It feels like the forest is guiding you, not deceiving you, and that, in its own way, is more unsettling than any overt threat. You take a tentative step onto the first stone. The air grows heavier, thicker, as if you've crossed another invisible threshold. The scent of damp earth and night-blooming flowers deepens, mingling with something new, a faint, metallic tang, like the air before a storm. The path is solid beneath your feet, but it's not comforting. Each stone seems to hum faintly, a vibration you feel through your soles, as if the path itself is alive, aware of your presence. You wonder if it was always here, hidden until the forest deemed you worthy, or if it formed itself just for you, conjured from the earth to lead you deeper into its secrets. The trees on either side of the path seem to lean in, their branches forming a tunnel of sorts, a cathedral of twisted wood and shadow. The moonlight, already scarce, is all but snuffed out here, leaving your wand as the only source of light. You move forward, one careful step at a time, your eyes darting to the shadows that shift just beyond your circle of illumination. The forest is no longer silent. The air is alive with soft, whispering sounds, rustling leaves, the distant snap of a twig, the faint, rhythmic drip of water somewhere far off. It's as if the woods are speaking to themselves, a conversation you're not privy to, but can't help overhearing. You follow the path as it winds deeper, the stones growing smoother, more polished, as if this part of the trail is older, more traveled. The air grows colder, the metallic tang sharper, and you realize you're descending, the path sloping gently downward into a hollow. The trees here are different, taller, thinner, their trunks pale and almost bone-like in the dim light. They sway slightly, though there's no wind, their branches clicking together like dry bones. The pull in your chest is almost a physical force now, a hand tugging you forward, and you can't tell if it's excitement or dread that makes your heart race. You pass a tree with a gash in its trunk, a deep, jagged wound that oozes a dark, viscous sap. Your wand light catches it, and for a moment, the sap seems to shimmer, almost as if it's moving, flowing upward against gravity. You blink, and it's still again, just a trick of the light. But the sight lingers in your mind, a reminder that this forest is not bound by the rules of the world you know. You quicken your pace, the stones cool and slick beneath your boots, the path leading you ever downward, ever deeper. The air grows thick with that unnamed something, a presence, a weight, a magic so old it feels like the heartbeat of the earth itself. You can't shake the feeling that the path is choosing you as much as you're choosing it. Every step feels like a commitment, a promise to see this through, to uncover whatever secret the forest is guiding you toward. The stones beneath your feet begin to glow faintly, not with light, but with a soft, greenish pulse, like the bioluminescence of deep-sea creatures. It's beautiful, but it makes your skin crawl. You're not just walking through the forest anymore. You're being led, and the destination is no longer in your control. You round a bend, and the path abruptly widens, the trees pulling back as if in deference. The air clears, the oppressive weight lifting slightly, and you realize you're standing at the edge of something new. The pull in your chest pulses once, sharply, and you know you've arrived somewhere significant. You raise your wand, its light trembling in your hand, and peer into the darkness ahead, where the path seems to dissolve into a clearing. The forest is watching, waiting, and you take a deep breath, stepping forward into the unknown. The path ends as abruptly as it began, the mossy stones giving way to a carpet of soft, luminescent moss that glows with a faint, otherworldly light. You've entered a clearing, a glade ringed by towering trees whose branches form a perfect, unbroken canopy above. The moonlight doesn't reach here, but it doesn't need to. The ground itself is alive with light, a soft, bluish-green glow emanating from the fungi that cling to the moss, to the roots, to the low, gnarled shrubs that circle the glade. It's a light that doesn't illuminate so much as it enchants, turning the clearing into a dreamlike stage, a pocket of magic so pure it feels like stepping into a memory that isn't yours. You lower your wand slightly, the lumos dimming in deference to the glade's own radiance. The air here is warm, almost humid, carrying the sweet, heavy scent of earth and something else. Something alive, something breathing. Your eyes adjust, and you see them, the creatures. They're arranged in a loose, natural ring around the center of the glade, their forms still and silent, as if caught in a spell of eternal sleep. A fox, its russet fur glowing faintly in the fungal light, lies curled with its tail tucked over its nose. A pair of puffskeins, their soft, round bodies pulsing gently with each breath. Nestle against a fallen log. A bowtruckle, no larger than your thumb, is perched on a toadstool, its twig-like limbs folded neatly, its eyes closed as if in meditation. You take a cautious step forward, your boots sinking slightly into the moss, which gives off a faint, musical hum at your touch. The creatures don't stir. They're not dead. You can see the slow rise and fall of their chests, the occasional twitch of a whisker or claw. But they're not awake either. They're suspended in a state of perfect, enchanted rest, their forms bathed in the glade's eerie glow. You count a dozen, maybe more, each one a different species, each one placed with a kind of deliberate care, as if this glade is a sanctuary, a place where the forest's inhabitants come to dream. The pull in your chest is quieter here, content, as if it's brought you to a place where it can rest. You move closer, careful not to disturb the moss, which seems to pulse faintly with your steps. The air is thick with magic, a gentle, humming current that makes your skin tingle. You kneel beside the fox, its fur so soft and vibrant, it seems almost unreal. You resist the urge to touch it, to brush your fingers along its flank. Something tells you that waking these creatures would be a violation, a breaking of a trust you didn't earn. The forest has allowed you to see this, to stand in this sacred space. But it's a privilege, not a right. You rise slowly, your eyes drawn to the center of the glade, where the moss forms a slight mound, a natural altar of sorts. Atop it sits a single glowing fungus, larger than the others, its cap pulsing with a slow, rhythmic light that matches the beat of your heart. You approach, your wand held loosely at your side, and as you draw near, you feel a warmth emanating from the mound, a gentle, living heat. The air here is almost liquid, shimmering with a faint, golden haze that makes your head swim. You blink, and for a moment, you think you see shapes in the haze, figures, faces, scenes from a life you've never lived. They're gone before you can focus, leaving only the afterimage of their presence. You stand there, rooted to the spot, the glade's magic wrapping around you like a cloak. The creatures sleep on, undisturbed, their dreams a silent chorus that fills the air with a weight you can feel, but not name. You want to stay, to lie down in the moss and let the glade's enchantment take you, to join the sleeping creatures in their endless, peaceful repose. but the pull in your chest stirs again. A gentle nudge, reminding you that this is not your destination. This is a moment, a gift, a glimpse of the forest's heart. But there is more to see, more to discover. You take a final look at the glade, committing every detail to memory. The glowing fungi, the sleeping creatures, the pulsing mound at its center. You know you'll never speak of this place, not because you're forbidden, but because words could never capture its truth. You turn, your boots silent on the humming moss, and step back toward the path, which has reappeared at the edge of the glade, its stones glowing faintly in the darkness. The pull in your chest is stronger now, more certain, guiding you forward. You leave the glade behind, its light fading into the shadows, but its warmth lingers in your bones, a reminder that the forest is not just a place of secrets, but of wonders. The path resumes its winding course, the mossy stones leading you away from the glade and deeper into the forest's heart. The air grows cooler again. The warm, dream-like haze of the glade replaced by a crisp, electric clarity that makes every sound sharp and distinct. Your wand light seems brighter now, as if the forest has decided to grant it a little more power, a small concession to your presence. The stones beneath your feet are smoother still, their surfaces almost polished, reflecting your light in faint, shimmering glints. The pull in your chest is steady, a constant guide, but it feels different now, less urgent, more patient, as if it knows you're committed to this journey, wherever it leads. The trees around you are denser, their trunks closer together, their branches weaving a tighter net above. The faint slivers of moonlight that once pierced the canopy are gone, leaving you in a world lit only by your wand and the occasional pulse of the glowing stones. The forest feels older here, heavier, as if you've crossed into a place where time moves differently, where centuries pass in the span of a single breath. The air is thick with the scent of ancient wood and damp moss. But there's something else now, a faint, sweet undertone, like honey left too long in the comb, rich and almost cloying. You pause, your breath catching as a new sound reaches your ears. It's soft at first, barely distinguishable from the rustle of leaves, but it grows clearer, more deliberate. It's a whisper, a low, sibilant murmur that seems to come from the air itself. You tilt your head, straining to listen, your wand held high, as if its light could somehow illuminate the sound. The whisper is not in English, not in any language you've ever heard. It's a cascade of syllables, fluid and melodic, like water flowing over smooth stones. The words, if they are words, slip through your mind like smoke. Impossible to grasp, yet they leave a residue of meaning, a fleeting impression of memory and longing. You take a step forward, and the whisper grows louder, more insistent. It's not just one voice now, but many, layered over each other. A chorus of unseen speakers. They seem to come from the trees, from the ground, from the air itself, surrounding you in a soft, inescapable embrace. You try to focus, to parse the sounds, but they elude you, their meaning always just out of reach. And yet, you understand, not the words themselves, but the feeling they carry. It's a sense of recognition, as if something ancient, something buried deep within the forest, knows you. It remembers you, though you've never been here before. Or have you? The thought sends a shiver down your spine, not of fear, but of something deeper, something that tugs at the edges of your soul. You lower your wand slightly, letting the light dim, and close your eyes, letting the whispers wash over you. They speak of time, of roots that stretch back to the beginning of the world, of lives lived and lost in the shadow of these trees. They speak of you, though you don't know how or why. Images flicker behind your closed eyelids, flashes of a moonlit glade, a hand brushing against bark, a child's laughter echoing through the trees. They're not your memories, and yet they feel like yours, as if the forest is sharing its own, weaving you into its endless, timeless story. You open your eyes, and the whispers fade, though they don't vanish entirely. They linger at the edge of your hearing, a soft, constant presence, like the hum of a distant hive. The path stretches before you, the stones glowing faintly, guiding you onward. You feel different now, heavier, as if the whispers have left something behind. A weight you can't name, but can't ignore. The pull in your chest is stronger, more certain, urging you forward with a quiet confidence. You take a step, then another, the whispers trailing behind you like a cloak, their meaning still elusive, but their presence a comfort, a reminder that you are not alone in this ancient, breathing place. The path begins to slope upward, the stones growing rougher, less polished, as if you're moving toward a place less traveled, less tamed. The trees part slightly, and you catch a glimpse of something ahead. A faint, silvery shimmer, like moonlight on water. the whispers grow softer, more distant, as if they've done their work, as if they've prepared you for what comes next. You quicken your pace, your heart pounding with a mix of anticipation and dread. The pull in your chest, a steady, unyielding guide. The forest is leading you somewhere, and you know, with a certainty that defies reason, that you're about to cross another threshold into a place where the magic is even older, even wilder. The path leads you to the edge of a narrow creek, its surface gleaming with a strange, liquid light that doesn't come from your wand or the faint, filtered moonlight above. The stones end abruptly, as if unwilling to cross this barrier, and you pause, your boots sinking slightly into the soft, damp earth. The creek is no wider than a few feet, its surface smooth and unbroken, reflecting the dark canopy above. But it's not water. It's too bright, too viscous, flowing with a slow, deliberate grace that feels almost alive. It shimmers like melted silver, its surface catching the light in ways that defy the laws of reflection, creating patterns that shift and swirl, forming shapes that are almost recognizable before dissolving back into chaos. You kneel at the edge, your wand held low, its light dancing across the creek's surface. You see your reflection, but it's wrong. The face that looks back at you is yours, yet not yours. The features are familiar. Your eyes, your nose, the curve of your jaw, but they're subtly altered, as if you're seeing yourself through someone else's eyes. The reflection blinks too slowly, its movements out of sync with your own. And for a moment, you think it smiles, though your own lips remain still. The sight sends a chill through you, a cold, creeping unease that settles in your bones. You pull back, your heart racing, and the reflection ripples, dissolving into the creek's strange, silvery flow. The pull in your chest urges you forward, but crossing this creek feels like a greater commitment than any step you've taken so far. The air above it is heavy, charged with a magic that makes your skin prickle and your wand hum faintly in your hand. You stand, hesitating, and notice that the whispers have returned, softer now, almost inaudible, but present, urging you onward. You look across the creek, where the path resumes, its stones rougher, less defined, leading into a thicker, darker part of the forest. There's no way around. The trees on either side are too dense, their roots tangling into an impenetrable wall. The only way is through. You take a deep breath, the air sharp and cold, and step into the creek. The moment your boot touches the surface, it doesn't sink as it would in water. It meets resistance, a strange, elastic pressure, as if the creek is deciding whether to let you pass. Then, with a soft, almost reluctant sigh, it gives way, and your foot sinks ankle deep into the liquid. It's not cold, not warm, but a strange, neutral temperature that feels like nothing at all. It clings to your boot, not soaking through, but coating it in a thin, shimmering film that glows faintly in the dark. You take another step, then another, moving slowly, deliberately, as if any sudden movement might anger the creek. The liquid swirls around your ankles, its surface rippling with patterns that seem to tell a story. Flashes of starlight, a tree falling, a hand reaching out. You feel a tug, not in your chest this time, but in your mind. A fleeting sense of loss, of something forgotten. It's as if the creek is pulling at your memories, sifting through them, taking something small but vital. You pause midstream, your breath hitching, trying to grasp what you've lost. But it's gone, slipped away, like the whispers you couldn't quite understand. You reach the other side, stepping onto the rough stones of the resined path, and the creek releases you with a soft, almost regretful ripple. You look down at your boots, expecting them to be soaked, but they're dry. The silvery film gone, as if it never was. You turn back, and the creek is still, its surface smooth and unbroken, reflecting nothing now but the dark, empty sky. The pull in your chest is quieter, subdued, as if the creek has taken something from it, too. You feel lighter, but not in a good way, unmoored, as if a small piece of you has been left behind in that strange, silvery flow. The path ahead is darker, the trees closer, their branches lower, brushing against your shoulders as you move forward. The whispers are gone now, replaced by a silence so deep it feels like a presence in itself. You know you've crossed more than just a creek. You've crossed a boundary, a line between the forest you knew and something deeper, older, more dangerous. The pull in your chest stirs again, weaker, but still present, guiding you onward. You raise your wand, its light steady now, and take a step, then another, into the heart of the forbidden forest, where the magic is no longer a whisper, but a roar, waiting to be heard. The path grows steeper, the stones underfoot now jagged and uneven, forcing you to slow your pace. The forest feels denser, the air thicker, as if the very atmosphere is pressing against you, testing your resolve. The trees are no longer merely ancient. They seem alive in a way that transcends the slow pulse of sap and root. Their branches sway without wind, their bark etched with patterns that shift in the corner of your eye, like words you can't quite read. Your wand light, though steady, feels small against the overwhelming presence of the forest, a fragile spark in a sea of shadow. The pull in your chest is a faint hum now, a quiet guide that urges you forward, but it's tempered by a growing sense of unease, as if you're approaching something the forest itself is reluctant to reveal. You round a bend, and the path opens into a small clearing, not as serene as the glade of sleeping creatures, but stark and open, bathed in a sudden spill of moonlight that cuts through a rare gap in the canopy. The light is cold, almost harsh, casting sharp shadows that make the surrounding trees look like sentinels standing guard. You pause, your breath visible in the chilly air, and that's when you see him, a centaur, stepping silently into the moonlight from the darkness beyond. He is enormous, towering over you, his equine body sleek and powerful, his human torso broad and muscled. His face is weathered, lined with the weight of years, and his eyes glow like embered stars, a deep, burning amber that seems to pierce through you. His hair, long and wild, is streaked with silver, blending into the dappled shadows of his coat. He carries no weapon, no adornment, only the weight of his presence, which fills the clearing like a physical force. You freeze, your wand still raised, its light trembling slightly in your hand. The pull in your chest falters, as if unsure whether to draw you closer or urge you to flee. The forest tolerates you. For now, he says, his voice low and resonant, like the rumble of distant thunder. The words are soft, almost gentle, but they leave a chill on your spine, a frost that seeps into your bones. There's no threat in his tone, no malice, but the weight of his words is unmistakable. You are a guest here, a temporary visitor in a place that does not belong to you. His eyes hold yours, unblinking, and you feel exposed, as if he can see not just your thoughts, but the very shape of your soul. You open your mouth to speak, to explain yourself, but no words come. What could you say? That you were dared? That you followed a feeling you can't name? The centaur's gaze softens slightly, a flicker of something like curiosity, and he steps closer, his hooves silent on the mossy ground. You walk a path few have seen, he continues, his voice carrying the weight of prophecy. But the forest does not reveal its secrets lightly. Every step you take is a choice, and every choice has a price. You swallow hard, your throat dry. The pull in your chest stirs again, faint but persistent, urging you to move forward. But the centaur's words anchor you to the spot. You want to ask what he means, what price, what secrets. But his presence is overwhelming. His gaze, a force that holds you in place. He tilts his head, as if listening to something you cannot hear. And for a moment, you think you catch the faint echo of the whispers from before, now distant and fragmented. The stars are watching, he says, almost to himself, his eyes flicking upward to the sliver of sky visible through the canopy. They see what you seek, but they do not guide. Not tonight. He steps back, his form blending into the shadows at the edge of the clearing. But his eyes remain fixed on you, glowing like twin lanterns in the dark. Go, if you must, he says, his voice softer now, almost a whisper. But know this, the forest remembers, and it will not forget you. With that, he turns, his massive form moving with a grace that belies his size, and disappears into the trees, leaving you alone in the moonlight. The clearing feels emptier now, colder, the moonlight harsher against the dark. Your wand light flickers, as if reacting to the centaur's departure, and you realize your hands are trembling. His words echo in your mind, each one heavy with meaning you can't fully grasp. The forest tolerates you. For now. The warning is clear, but it's not enough to turn you back. The pso in your chest, though shaken, is still there. A quiet insistence that you're not done, that there's more to see, more to understand. You take a deep breath, steadying yourself, and step forward, the path reappearing under your feet, its stones, rougher now, leading you deeper into the forest's heart. The path grows wilder, the stones less defined, as if the forest is no longer guiding you with precision, but allowing you to stumble toward your destination. The trees are thicker here, their trunks gnarled and twisted their branches forming a low, oppressive ceiling that blocks out even the faintest hint of moonlight. Your wand light is your only companion, its glow a small defiance against the encroaching dark. The air is heavy with the scent of earth and decay, and the pull in your chest is a steady pulse, urging you forward despite the centaur's warning, despite the growing sense that you're walking into something you may not be ready to face. You stumble over a root, catching yourself against a tree, its bark rough and cold under your hand. The forest feels different now, not just ancient, but eternal. A place where time itself bends and warps. The path begins to fade, the stones giving way to packed earth, and you wonder if you've lost your way. But then you see it, a faint glow ahead, not the soft, organic light of the glade, but something colder, more deliberate, like the flicker of starlight trapped in stone. You push forward, brushing aside low-hanging branches, and emerge into a clearing unlike any you've seen. It's a perfect circle, ringed by massive standing stones, each one taller than you, their surfaces weathered but unyielding, carved with runes that pulse with a faint, silvery light. The ground within the circle is bare, not a blade of grass or speck of moss, just smooth, dark earth that seems to drink in your wand light. The air is still, unnaturally so, and the pull in your chest is almost painful now, a sharp, insistent tug that draws you toward the center of the circle. You step inside, and the world shifts. The silence deepens, becoming a tangible force, pressing against your ears, your skin, your mind. The runes on the stones glow brighter, their light pulsing in time with your heartbeat, and you feel a hum beneath your feet, a vibration that resonates in your bones. You approach one of the stones, its surface cool and smooth under your hand, and the moment you touch it, the hum becomes a song, a low, resonant note that fills the clearing. Images flood your mind, flashes of lives not your own, faces you've never seen, places you've never been. A warrior in ancient robes, wielding a staff that crackles with light. A woman weaving a spell under a sky ablaze with stars. A child running through a forest that looks like this one, but brighter, younger, untouched by time. You pull your hand away, gasping, the images fading, but leaving a residue of emotion, joy, sorrow, fear, hope. The stone continues to hum, softer now, as if acknowledging your touch. You move to another, then another, each one offering a different glimpse, a different life, a different piece of the forest's endless story. The runes shift under your gaze, their shapes changing, forming words you can't read, but feel deep in your core. This is a place of memory, of time folded in on itself, where the past and present and future coexist in a single, eternal moment. You stand in the center of the circle, your wand lowered, its light unnecessary now. The stones glow brighter, their runes casting a web of light that weaves through the air, connecting each stone to its neighbors. You feel small, insignificant, yet part of something vast, something that stretches beyond the forest, beyond the castle, beyond the world you know. The pull in your chest is quiet now, satisfied, as if this is what it wanted you to see, to feel. You close your eyes, letting the hum of the stones fill you, letting the forest's ancient magic wrap around you like a cloak. When you open your eyes, the runes are dimming, the hum fading, but the weight of what you've seen remains. You know you can't stay here, not forever, but you also know you'll carry this place with you, a secret etched into your soul. The path reappears at the edge of the circle, its stones rough but clear, leading you onward. You take a final look at the standing stones, their runes now dark, and step back onto the path, the pull in your chest stirring once more, guiding you deeper into the forest's mysteries. The circle of stones fades behind you, its ancient hum lingering in your bones like a half-remembered song. The path resumes, rougher now, the stones scattered and uneven, as if the forest is no longer concerned with guiding you gently. The trees press closer, their branches lower, brushing against your shoulders, snagging at your robes with twig fingers that feel almost deliberate. Your wand light casts jagged shadows, and the air grows colder, sharper, carrying a faint, musky scent that you can't place. Something wild, primal, alive. The pull in your chest is steady but quieter, as if it's conserving its strength, preparing you for something yet to come. You move forward, each step a conscious effort, the forest's presence heavier than ever. The silence is profound, but it's not empty. It's the kind of silence that precedes a storm, thick with anticipation, charged with a tension that makes your skin prickle. You strain your ears, half expecting the whispers to return, or the centaur's voice to echo from the shadows. But there's nothing. Just the soft crunch of your boots on the earth, the faint rustle of leaves as you pass, and the steady thump of your own heart, loud in the stillness. Then it comes, a sound that shatters the silence like glass. It's a howl, far off, but piercing, a sound that's half animal, half storm, raw and elemental. It rises, swelling into a crescendo that seems to shake the very air, before fading into a low, mournful wail that lingers in the distance. Your breath catches, your wand hand tightening, the light flickering as if startled by the sound. The howl is not just a noise, it's a force, a presence that fills the forest, commanding attention, demanding respect. It's not directed at you, but it feels personal, as if it's speaking to the part of you that's been drawn deeper into this place, the part that answered the dare, the summons. The forest reacts. Every small sound you've grown accustomed to, the rustle of leaves, the skitter of unseen creatures, stops abruptly. The trees themselves seem to lean back, their branches stiffening, as if bracing against the echo of the howl. You glance around, your wand light sweeping the shadows, and notice movement, or the absence of it. A small, glowing insect, hovering near a tree, freezes mid-flight, its light dimming. A faint rustle in the undergrowth, which you'd barely registered, falls silent. Even the air feels heavier, as if the forest is holding its breath, waiting for something to pass. You stand frozen, your heart pounding, the pull in your chest pulsing in time with the fading echo of the howl. You don't know what made that sound. A wolf, a creature older and stranger, or something born of the forest's own magic. But you know it's not something you want to meet, yet the path stretches before you, unchanged, leading deeper into the darkness, and the poodle urges you forward, undeterred. You take a tentative step, then another, your wand held high, its light a small, defiant beacon in the oppressive gloom. The howl doesn't come again, but its memory lingers, a weight that settles over the forest like a shroud. The silence returns, but it's different now, more fragile, as if the forest is recovering, regathering its strength. Small sounds creep back, the drip of water, the faint rustle of a leaf, but they're cautious, subdued. You move faster now, driven by a mix of fear and determination. The pull in your chest, a steady guide. The path slopes downward, the trees thinning slightly, and you catch glimpses of the sky above, a deep, starless black that feels impossibly vast. You pass a tree with claw marks gouged into its trunk, deep and fresh, the sap still glistening in your wand light. The sight makes your stomach twist, but you don't stop. The path curves sharply, leading you into a hollow where the air is colder, the ground softer, almost spongy underfoot. The pull in your chest grows stronger, more insistent, as if you're nearing something significant. You raise your wand, scanning the shadows, half expecting another pair of glowing eyes or the centaur's silhouette. But there's nothing. Just the path, the trees, and the lingering echo of that howl. A reminder that the forest is not as empty as it seems. You pause at the edge of the hollow, your breath visible in the chilly air. The pull is almost painful now, a sharp tug that draws your gaze to a gnarled, ancient tree at the center of the hollow, its roots sprawling like veins across the earth. Something about it feels important, as if it's the key to whatever the forest has been leading you toward. You take a step closer, the howl's echo still ringing in your mind, and the forest watches, waiting, its silence a challenge you can't ignore. The hollow feels like a cradle, a sunken heart within the forest, its edges ringed by trees that lean inward, their branches forming a loose, protective dome. The air is still, heavy with the scent of damp earth and something sweeter, like overripe fruit left to soften in the dark. Your wand light casts a soft glow across the gnarled tree at the center, its trunk twisted and knotted, its roots sprawling across the ground like the fingers of a giant buried beneath the earth. The pull in your chest is a steady throb now, drawing you toward the tree with an urgency that feels both familiar and alien, as if it's calling to a part of you you've long forgotten. You approach cautiously, your boots sinking into the soft, mossy ground, each step accompanied by a faint, wet squelch. The tree looms larger as you draw near, its bark etched with patterns that seem to shift in the flickering light. Spirals, lines, shapes that might be runes, or might be the forest's own language. Your wand light catches a hollow at the base of the tree, a dark, jagged opening just wide enough for you to reach inside. The pull in your chest pulses sharply, almost painfully, urging you to look, to touch, to discover. You kneel, your robes brushing against the damp earth, and peer into the hollow. At first, you see nothing but darkness, a void that seems to swallow your wand light. But then, deep within, something glints, a small, faint spark, like a star caught in the roots of the tree. You hesitate, the centaur's warning echoing in your mind, the memory of the howl still fresh, but the pull is too strong, too insistent. You reach in, your fingers brushing against the rough, cool wood, and feel something soft, delicate, out of place in this ancient, wild place. You pull it out, and your breath catches. In your hand is a ribbon, faded but unmistakable. Its once vibrant blue, now softened to a dusty hue. You know this ribbon. You haven't seen it in years, not since you were a child, when you tied it in your hair or wrapped it around a toy wand, pretending to cast spells in your backyard. You'd lost it long ago, mourned its absence with the quiet, fierce grief of childhood, certain it was gone forever. But here it is, in the heart of the forbidden forest, impossibly preserved, its edges frayed but intact. You turn it over in your hands, your fingers trembling, the wand light casting soft shadows across its surface. How did it get here? The question spins in your mind, unanswered, unanswerable. The forest doesn't work that way. It doesn't explain, doesn't justify. It simply is. And this ribbon, this small piece of your past, is here. A gift, or a reminder, or perhaps something else entirely. You feel a pang, not of loss, but of recognition, as if the ribbon is a thread connecting you to the child you were, to the dreams you carried before the world grew complicated. You tuck the ribbon into your pocket, its weight slight but profound, and rise, your eyes drawn back to the hollow. The pull in your chest is quieter now, satisfied, but not gone. You wonder if there's more, if the tree holds other secrets, other pieces of your past. But the hollow is dark again, its glint extinguished. The forest has given you what it wanted you to find, and it expects you to move on. You step back, your gaze lingering on the tree, its roots seeming to pulse faintly in the dim light, and feel a strange gratitude, a sense that the forest has seen you, known you, in a way no one else ever could. The path reappears at the edge of the hollow, its stones rough but clear, leading you out of the cradle and back into the forest's depths. The air feels lighter now, the musky scent fading, replaced by the familiar smell of damp leaves and pine. The howl's echo is distant, a memory rather than a threat, and the forest seems to soften, its presence less oppressive, more companionable. You take a deep breath, the ribbon a quiet weight in your pocket, and step onto the path, the pull in your chest guiding you forward toward whatever lies next in this ancient, whispering world. The path out of the hollow feels different, less certain, as if the forest is reluctant to let you go. The stones beneath your feet are no longer smooth or deliberate. They're scattered, half buried in the earth, forcing you to pick your way carefully through the undergrowth. The pull in your chest, once a steady guide, is now a faint, flickering pulse, as if it's unsure of its own direction. You try to retrace your steps, to follow the path back the way you came, but the forest resists. The trees you passed earlier, those gnarled, ancient sentinels with their claw-marked trunks and whispering branches, are no longer where you left them. They stand in new places, their shapes subtly altered, their shadows cast in unfamiliar patterns. You pause, your wand raised, its light cutting through the darkness, but revealing only more confusion. The creek you crossed, with its strange, silvery flow, is nowhere to be seen. The hollow where you found the ribbon should be just behind you. But when you glance back, there's only a dense wall of trees, their branches interwoven so tightly they form an impassable barrier. The air grows colder, the scent of pine and damp earth sharper, and you realize the forest is rearranging itself, shifting its paths and landmarks to keep you within its grasp. The realization sends a shiver through you, not of fear, but of awe, a recognition of the forest's power, its ability to bend reality to its will. You move forward, trusting the faint pull in your chest, though it feels more like a suggestion now than a command. The path twists and turns, leading you through groves you don't recognize, past trees that seem to lean closer, their branches brushing against your face like curious fingers. Your wand light catches glimpses of movement, shadows that dart just beyond your vision, leaves that rustle without wind. But you see no eyes, no creatures, only the forest itself, alive and watching, The silence is heavy, broken only by the crunch of your boots and the occasional snap of a twig, each sound amplified in the stillness. You try to recall the landmarks you passed, the glade of sleeping creatures, the circle of stones, the centaur's clearing, but they're gone, or hidden, or never existed at all. The forest is a labyrinth now, a living, breathing puzzle that shifts with every step you take. You feel a pang of panic, a fleeting urge to call out, to cast a spell, to force the forest to reveal its secrets. But you know it wouldn't listen. The forest doesn't answer to your magic, to your wand, to your will. It has its own rules, its own rhythm, and you are subject to them, a guest in its ancient, untamed domain. Just as the panic begins to tighten its grip, you see him, the centaur, his silhouette emerging from the shadows ahead. He stands at a crossroads where the path splits, his massive form bathed in a faint, silvery light that seems to come from nowhere. His embered eyes meet yours, and you feel a strange relief, as if his presence is a sign that the forest hasn't abandoned you entirely. He says nothing, but his gaze is steady, unyielding, and you sense that he's been watching you, following your journey through the forest's shifting maze. He nods once, a slow, deliberate gesture, and points to the path on the right, its stones faintly visible in the darkness. You hesitate, wanting to ask him why, to demand answers, but his expression silences you. There's no judgment in his eyes, no warning, only a quiet acknowledgement that you've come this far, that you've seen what the forest wanted you to see. You nod back, a silent agreement, and step onto the path he indicated. The moment you do, the air shifts, the trees parting slightly, revealing a glimpse of open sky ahead. The pull in your chest strengthens, guiding you forward. And you know, with a certainty that defies the forest's tricks, that you're finally heading toward the edge. The path grows clearer, the stones more defined, and the forest's presence softens, as if it's relenting, allowing you to leave. The centaur's silhouette lingers in your mind, a final guardian, a guide who appeared when you needed him most. You don't look back, afraid that the forest might change its mind, but you feel its gaze on you, a weight that's both heavy and comforting. The ribbon in your pocket, the hum of the stones, the echo of the howl, they're all part of you now, pieces of the forest you'll carry forever. The path leads you upward, the ground sloping gently, the trees thinning until you can see slivers of the night sky through their branches. The air grows lighter, fresher, carrying the familiar scent of grass and open space. Your wand light, once a fragile spark, feels stronger now, its glow pushing back the shadows with a quiet confidence. The pull in your chest is faint, almost gone, as if it's satisfied, its purpose fulfilled. You move faster, driven by a malaise of relief and longing, the promise of the open night drawing you forward like a beacon. You step out of the forest, and the world shifts. The tree line is behind you, a solid wall of darkness that seems to close ranks as you leave, sealing itself shut. The vast, moonlit lawn of Hogwarts stretches before you, its grass silvered and glistening with dew. The castle looms in the distance, its towers and turrets glowing softly in the moonlight. A silent, welcoming giant. The air is crisp, clean, free of the forest's heavy, ancient scent. And you take a deep breath, filling your lungs with the familiar taste of the grounds. You look down at yourself, your robes damp and clinging to your skin, streaked with moss and earth. Your hands are stained green, your fingers rough from brushing against bark and stone. The ribbon in your pocket feels heavier than it should. A small, tangible reminder of the forest's gifts. You turn back, half expecting to see the centaur, or the glowing eyes, or the silvery creek. But the forest is silent, its edge impenetrable, its secrets sealed within its depths. It feels like a dream. But the weight in your pocket, the moss on your hands, the hum in your bones, they're real, undeniable. You start across the lawn, the castle growing larger with each step. Its lights a promise of warmth, of safety, of the world you know. But you're different now. The forest has changed you, marked you, in ways you can't yet understand. You feel it in the way your steps are surer, your breath steadier, your heart heavier with something that's not quite sorrow, not quite joy. The pull in your chest is gone, replaced by a quiet certainty, a knowing that you've seen something few ever will, that you've walked a path meant only for you. You reach the great oak doors of the entrance hall, their weight familiar under your hands. You whisper the silencing charm, the same one you used hours ago, and slip inside, the castle's warmth enveloping you like an embrace. The corridors are silent, the portraits sleeping, the suits of armor still. You make your way back to the common room, your steps soft on the stone floors, and climb into your bed, the ribbon still in your pocket, the forest's secrets locked in your heart. You never speak of what you saw, not because you're afraid or because you're forbidden, but because the words don't exist. Not in any language you know. The glade, the stones, the creek, the ribbon, they're yours alone. A story written in moss and moonlight, in whisper and howls. You close your eyes, and the forest lingers, its magic a quiet pulse in your veins, a reminder that you've walked in a place older than the castle, wilder than your dreams, and come out changed.